Welcome to a story. There are only 1.3 million wild boars in Germany, but it only takes 8 minutes for them to destroy 40 acres of wheat, causing more than $120 million, 0 cents, in damage each year. Why are there so few, but so destructive? How did German hunters face the most brutal chase ever recorded? Two, the reality in Germany is becoming more severe than ever. As the economy stagnates, the wheat industry declines. Farmers have to deal with a dangerous enemy, wild boars. They invade in groups of 20 to 50 and are at their strongest in late summer, when the wheat reaches its golden ripening stage. In 2012, Germans were shocked when hundreds of wild boars suddenly broke into many fields at the same time, and wheat production fell by up to 12%, considered the worst agricultural crisis in a decade. Many of them were so full that they slept right in the fields, turning the fields into their new territory. Wheat growers not only lost their crops, but also lost hope. Germany was forced to face the urgent question: if no action was taken, how long would the agricultural sector survive? The chaos that ensued was that the large hills of Brandenburg were no longer peaceful, but instead were filled with loud gunfire. The hardest hit area had more than 2,000 hunters mobilized, all with over 10 years of experience and hundreds of hunts. Those under 18 were absolutely not allowed to participate. It was no longer a recreational hunt like in Texas, but a battle for survival, where every shot was not just to take down prey, but to preserve crops and save the entire agricultural region from collapse. Did you know that in just one hunting season, the Germans can kill up to 850,000 wild boars? A shocking number for any European country. It is worth mentioning that they do not hunt for fun, but because if they are one step too slow, a herd of 50 to 80 will rush down from the fruit-growing hills and destroy all the wheat in a few hours. That is why these hills are completely blocked, prohibiting local people from entering, turning this place into a strategic blocking point. German hunters do not wait for wild boars to rush down to the fields. They attack first, choose high positions, shoot in formation, ensuring that every bullet hits the target, not letting any escape. As a result, damage is reduced by nearly 40%, saving the entire crop from collapse. That's it, the sooner the wall is blocked, the better tattoo. Have you learned anything from this strategy? If wild boars come in herds like that in your country, would you choose to react or attack first? And when the emergency control operation was activated, the Germans knew that if they wanted to stop the 1.3 million wild boar herd, they had to strike at its strongest at night. That was when wild boars were most active, but hunting at night was never an advantage. Hunters faced poor visibility, darkness hid their movements, and a wrong stance could mean shooting the wrong target. So they were forced to adhere to strict rules that all hunts had to end by 23 o'clock to ensure animal welfare and prevent humans from going beyond the safety limit. Anyone who tried to hunt beyond that time would be heavily fined and have their license revoked immediately. You may not know that from 2015 to 2018, in districts such as Brandenburg and Saxony-Anhalt, German people often hunted wild boars individually in their fields. But the efficiency was extremely low because wild boars in Germany move in groups, while hunting them individually is like pouring water into a leaky bucket.
Thanks, Bart. Got him.
Agricultural damage therefore increased sharply. In 2012 alone, before Germany launched a large-scale campaign, the total damage exceeded 120 million USD, causing many farmers to struggle during the economic downturn. The lesson here is clear. Hunting alone can never win against a species that moves in groups. In contrast to Texas, where hunters use airplanes, helicopters, thermal scopes, and organise large group hunts, the Germans lacked a strategy and only reacted when it was too late. This comparison highlights the fact that hunting wild boars is not an impulsive action, but a planned campaign. Without a strategy, you will always lose from the start. Wild hogs ravage Canada's wetlands, destroying 70% of the nesting sites of endangered waterfowl like the northern pintail duck. Their burrowing contaminates waterways with E. coli bacteria, harming fish and native food sources. Recovery costs drain $500,000, 0 cents annually from conservation budgets. Hunters use traps and drones to combat the 9% annual spread. If you are experiencing this, comment 1 if so. The threat was growing, and the Canadian government took extreme measures to stop the threat immediately. Before the helicopter took off, they prepared precisely, loading large caliber rifles, synchronizing thermal drones, and studying the GPS-tracked wild hog paths. One wrong move and the wild hogs would disappear. Helicopters revolutionised wild hog hunting, covering a large area and collecting all the detectors in minutes, bypassing ground traps. Helicopter hunting. The US's powerful solution to 290,000 square miles of Canadian land has helped cull 2,000 wild hogs a year in Alberta, each ambush saves $1.5 billion, 0 cents in crops and wetlands, and restores 70% of damaged waterfowl nests. Traditional traps are 60% less effective, potentially increasing the damage to $900 million, 0 cents. In an hour, helicopters catch 10-15 wild hogs 10 times more than ground hunting. For $2,000, 0 cents an hour, it's a tight race to save ecosystems before wild hogs overrun Canada's heartland. A little note for new hunters, this is a challenge because the activity takes place in the air. Sniping from a fast-moving helicopter requires great precision and tremendous endurance. Beginners prepare with rifle drills, exercise regimens, and anti-nausea medication. High above the steps, every shot counts, reducing the threat of wild boar to save the marshes. Before any wild boar hunt, you must be aware of the law requiring a permit to be filed 7 days in advance, detailing helicopter specifications and flight areas, and avoiding airports within 3.5 miles. Failure to comply risks a $20,000, 0 cents fine and loss of your wild boar hunting license. Strict regulations ensure safe and targeted culling for the safety of the hunter. In addition, with the increase of wild boar, combining hunting with bows is the perfect choice. Hunters will not choose bows and arrows blindly, but they choose 60-pound compound bows for windy plains, 45-pound curved bows for humid forests. Rain requires waterproof bowstrings.
Oh my.
A careful preparation step brings hunters safety and high accuracy. Have you used this type of bow and arrow? Do you have any other experiences? Please share with us in the comments section. To save energy, hunters spread corn bait near their hides, attracting wild boars to their hunting grounds. Bow hunting wild boars is an opportunity for hunters to protect their land and livelihood. It requires skill, patience, and respect for the animal, reminding hunters that every shot counts. This hunting trip in Canada taught hunters discipline and responsibility, demonstrating that careful, ethical hunting helps maintain balance in nature. If you agree, please click the like button.
Initially, Australia had about 300 to 400 invasive animal species spread across the states. Among them, the most prominent is the dingo dog that was brought to Australia as a hunting animal. However, they later became a significant problem, causing damage to Australia's agriculture and natural environment. They have become one of the leading invasive species, causing damage to native wildlife, causing ecological imbalance, and creating significant costs for governments and farmers to control and minimize their negative effects. The most important thing is that dingo dogs directly affect the economy and livestock farming. People living in Australia told me that dingoes cause about $60 million USD in damage each year to livestock farms in Australia, especially sheep farming. The reason they attack sheep is often due to their hunting instincts and adaptation to their natural habitat. The parts of the dingo dog that affect its hunting behavior are mainly its sharp canines and ability to move quickly, helping them attack and destroy target opponents effectively. Let me learn in detail about the above two parts. Leave comment 1 to let me know you're curious about this too. In recent years, dingoes have caused serious damage to kangaroo populations. With their fast running speed and hunting skills, they often take advantage of this ability to chase kangaroos. Dingoes often choose young or old animals to attack, causing the balance in the kangaroo population to be upset. Kangaroos play an important role in maintaining ecosystem balance by controlling the growth of trees and other plants. Their sudden decline could lead to environmental destruction and a decline in food sources for many other species. In addition, economic loss is also a worrying issue. Kangaroos are often an important source of income for the livestock and tourism industries in Australia. Declines in kangaroo numbers due to dingo attacks could have a major economic impact on people who rely on this source of income. This increases pressure on measures to control dingoes and protect kangaroo populations. What has the Australian government done to deal with invasive dingoes? They spend up to $100 million a year to address the economic and environmental damage caused by dingoes, and the most effective way is the hunting method to legally manage dingo populations. In Australian dingo hunting, bolt-action gear is a popular and effective choice. The main characteristics of bolt-action tools are the ability to shoot from a distance and high accuracy. This hunting tool has a simple structure with a simple operating mechanism. After each shot, the user needs to pull back the barrel to put new medicine into the hunting tube and at the same time prepare to take down the dingo. Next, the simplicity of the bolt-action tool makes it an ideal tool for dingo hunting. When hunting, workers will often approach dingoes from a distance, taking advantage of the precision vision of bolt-action tools. With each hunt, they can usually kill 6-7 dingoes, thanks to the power of their hunting equipment. This allows them to effectively control dingo populations while protecting lands and livestock from attacks. Using bolt-action tools is not only effective in taking down dingoes but also ensures safety for hunters and the surrounding environment. However, the use of dingo hunting equipment in compliance with wildlife regulations and rules is important to ensure a balance between controlling dingoes and protecting the natural ecosystem of Australia. Hunting is an effective way to control the number of invasive dingo species. But some opposing views can be raised. It concerns the ethics and treatment of wild animals. Although dingoes are harmful to agriculture, using hunting methods will cause pain to them. It is argued that they should be protected and managed in a more civilized way. In addition, the use of hunting weapons can impact the environment because cigarette smoke is released directly into the environment, reducing biodiversity. When it comes to controlling dingoes, there is a more enjoyable method and one that doesn't hurt them. That is using traps to trap them. One of the common traps used to catch dingoes in Australia is the leg hold trap. This type of trap is designed to grip their feet when they step in, to keep them from escaping. How to install this trap is extremely important to ensure effectiveness in catching dingoes. To install the trap, the user needs to find a suitable location, usually near paths or trails where dingoes often pass. Then they need to choose a section of road that already has dingo tracks or an area where dogs are likely to pass through. When a dingo walks into a trap, the trap snaps on their legs, causing damage and trapping them. The use of this leg hold trap can be considered more effective than the use of hunting gear, as it helps to safely capture and control dingoes without having to stun them. This also helps minimize the risk of harm to humans and other animals in natural habitats. However, the use of leg hold traps also needs to be done carefully and in compliance with environmental protection regulations and wildlife laws. In my opinion, the above methods are effective in controlling the number of dingo dogs. What do you think about the above two methods? Please comment to let us know. Which method do you find most effective? Comment number 1 if you find using hunting gear is most effective. Comment 0 if you feel that using traps does not harm dingoes. Thank you for watching the entire video. Like and press the channel subscription button to watch the next videos.
These approaches have been great at stopping the spread of some invasive species. Got any ideas for even better solutions? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can all dive into it together. Thanks for sticking around and watching the whole video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And hey, be sure to tell your friends about us too so they can check it out. Bye and see you in the next video.